So what I'm trying to reduce this to a layman's term. What you're saying there is, don't be overawed by someone saying, A, I'm a scientist, and B, I'm an atheist. Don't suppose that statement B derives any particular authority from statement A. That's what you're saying, right?
The comparable claim would be, A, I'm a scientist, B, I'm an expert on contract law.
Right.
Well, yeah, expert on contract law because you study particle physics, give me a break.
Right.
Expert on the existence of God because you studied particle physics. I request the same break, the same suspension of belief, the same absence of commitment to whatever it is you're saying. And these guys are, of course, shameless. They're just shameless.
Segment 3, Big Bang. The devil's delusion again. Scientists, the Big Bang and the anthropic principle, by the way, we'll cover both if we may.
Sure.
The devil's delusion. Scientists, the physicist Paul Davies has observed, are slowly waking up to an inconvenient truth. The universe looks suspiciously like a fix. The issue concerns the very laws of nature themselves, close quote. Explain that, if you would.
Well, Paul Davies is one of a number of physicists, certainly not the only one. Fred Hoyle, who was a very serious 20th century astrophysicist, came to the same conclusion. He said the universe looks like it's been monkeyed with by a superintellect. Things are so precisely coordinated. Numerical values for certain parameters are so finely adjusted, and if they were perturbed in any way, things would collapse, or the universe would become chaotic, or living systems couldn't arise, that we cannot conclude that this was all the result of any kind of accidental process. It's inherent in the design. But when we look at the laws of nature, nothing in the laws of nature suggests it must be this way. The design is inherent in the numerical parameters and certain properties we see in the universe, but we have no good account for this. The laws of nature are silent. They are what they are. They can work with any within any numerical valuation or range. So all of these guys, and there's Fred Hoyle, there's Paul Davies, Stephen Hawking once was talking about this. Any thoughtful physicist will say, why is the universe the way it is? Why is the universe the way it is? Precisely the way it is. When what we might expect rationally is a generic universe. Generic is a term of mathematics meaning what you would ordinarily expect, the most likely kind of case. And we're very far from genericity in the universe. We're a highly unlikely kind of structure we inhabit. And the question is, why is that? Now, one answer to Fred Hoyle is that the universe looks as if it were monkeyed with by a superintellect is, it was monkeyed with by a superintellect. Things were set up just so. Another answer is, we really don't know. It's one of the enigmas of modern science.
So how much, I'm trying to, the anthropic principle, the suggestion is, your suggestion is that it's reasonable to suppose that it was set up. That is to say, the laws of the universe are consistent with the notion of the Judeo-Christian idea of a creator who set it up. I think John Paul II said that man is the only creature that God willed for his own sake. So that if the belief is that this is all set up to produce human beings, that's consistent with what we see in the anthropic.
Completely.
Okay. But you're not saying, you're saying only that it's consistent. You're not taking it a step further to argue that it is evidence or even suggestive that there may be a creator, because after all, again, the crude layman's attempt to grasp the argument here, you spin the roulette wheel and the ball falls on number 7, and you could spend the rest of your life saying, with all those possible slots, why did it fall on number 7? Why should that have been? Well, it was because it was. It was an accident, right? So you can't really get very far. You can't construct much of a proof of the existence of a creator. You can't.
No, you can't. But you can construct an argument, something short of a proof.
All right.
I agree. If the ball drops in the slot marked number 7 just once, you can say, well, and you get a big payoff. It's interesting, drop once. If it drops in number 7 again and again and again, at some point you would be entitled to scratch your head and say, you know, the game must be fixed, or I must be inordinately favored to be winning it like this. But I'm not going to say, I'm lucky. That
Right.
doesn't seem to me a perfectly appropriate answer. At some point, luck runs out, as we all know.
Right. All right.